whistleblower Kevin Bartmer and Kevin McFadden, Craig Bartmer and Kevin McFadden, and others talk about explosions.
Absolutely. And we're going to talk about that on the other side. I got a bunch of callers here. Tell the screener if you want to ask Richard Gage a question, and we'll go to you on the other side. It's the Infowarrior with Jason Bermas. Go check it out right there, 2,700 degrees over at the Infowarrior.com. We are back. It's the Infowarrior with Jason Bermas. We are joined by architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth's own Richard Gage, and we're discussing Building 7. And I just want to go through some of the major contradictions in, the lore of Building 7. First of all, back in 2004, when Popular Mechanics took it upon themselves on behalf of Hearst Publications to attack the 9/11 Truth movement, when they went to Building 7, they went to a man named S. Shyam Sunder of NIST. And S. Shyam Sunder made the false claim that they had pictures of the building that nobody else had, and Popular Mechanics got to see these pictures, never been published, not even to this day, that showed the damage of the south side, that up to a quarter of the south side of Building 7 had been scooped out. Now you fast forward, I believe it is 4 years later when the report comes out, and they have to admit that's false, don't they, Richard?
They don't acknowledge that they acknowledge that the damage, whatever it was not significant. A significant factor in the collapse of the building, because the damage was nowhere near the column 79, which is under the east penthouse, which collapses first. Mm-hmm. So their whole theory has to focus on that area of the building. They also, by the way, pulled the rug out from Popular Mechanics when they acknowledged that diesel fuel did not have an effect at all on this building. It wasn't even burning. Mm-hmm. And so this was these were the two major tenets of Popular Mechanics debunking, if you will, of the 9/11 Truth movement, and Shyam Sunder himself pulls these rugs out from under them. And there's not much left, because what he also did is acknowledge, after having said that if these buildings didn't fall at free fall speed, it was 40% of free fall acceleration. If it would have fallen at free fall acceleration, that would mean there'd be no structure to resist the collapse. Well, now, after public questioning by members of AE 9/11 Truth and others during their conference, public conference, I think in November, the final conference, no, in August, September, whatever it was, They now acknowledge, okay, you're right. Sorry, guys, it was free fall acceleration. The first 100 feet of this building's drop is free fall acceleration. But they don't go back and say, but that means there's no structure. So I guess the structure just magically gave up the ghost. In order for that to happen, the columns have to be forcibly removed, synchronistically timed, floor by floor, in order for a building to drop like a house of cards at free fall acceleration. No resistance. There's 40,000 tons of structural steel designed to resist any kind of a collapse in this building, in fact, with a safety factor of 3 to 5.
Exactly. And that Office of Emergency Management was retooled in 1999. You can see this information in Loose Change Final Cut, where they actually admit that it would be set up, that building alone, the structure, would be set up for a 50-year storm of unbelievable magnitudes, hurricanes, tornadoes, you name it. On the other side of this break, when we take some callers, but I want to also get into the fact that their explanation, NIST's explanation of thermal expansion, is in direct contradiction to what they claim with Towers 1 and 2. I'd like you to explain that to people.
Well, the thermal expansion is these long-span beams. They had to come up with a new phenomena. So the fires, first of all, that were on the floor 12, they say were out of control during the last couple hours of the life of this building. But the photos and videos show no out-of-control fires, first of all. There's no conflagration. There's 8 to 10 fairly small fires is what they show. But in addition to that, on this particular floor, they're out. They burned out within an hour and a half prior to the building's collapse at 5:20. Mm-hmm. So how could it even happen? But what they say is that these beams expanded and pushed the girder off of its seat on column 79, causing the floor to collapse, about 9 floors, in fact, around column 79. Finally, without any lateral bracing, it just buckles, and then the whole thing caves in on the inside under the east penthouse. 400 structural steel connections failing per second required for that to happen. It's ludicrous.
Which is completely impossible. And you don't have to be an architect or engineer to figure that out. All you have to do is watch the videotapes and look at the evidence of molten metal at the scene. We'll be back after this. It's the Info Warrior.